Now, WJC's Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank.
You are watching Purple Playbook. I'm Alex Glaze, joined by two-time Super Bowl champion Torrey Smith. We have a lot to discuss over the next 30 minutes as the Ravens wrap up the second week of training camp. And rookie wide receiver Jacobe, that hype train, just keeps on picking up steam. And Stefon Diggs has a new home. But we have to start with the big news of the week. Zay Flowers signs a monster deal that makes him the highest paid receiver in Ravens history. It's a 4-year extension for Zay worth $140 million. $108 million guaranteed. He said he went to meetings right after the signing, so didn't really get to take it all in until the player's day off. But he says that his quarterbacks took him out to dinner after he signed.
I haven't had a lot of time to really take it in because, soon when he got the deal done, he had to go right back to meetings, and then you got to get ready for the next day. So on my off day, I enjoy it. Snoop and Lamar, they took me to dinner last night. We had a few hours. Sat down on the phone with my family. I had everybody in the group chat. Everybody was going crazy, so it was good to talk to everybody.
All right, you know this world better than I do. How do you sign a $140 million deal and then get taken out to dinner? How's that work? It seemed like you should be picking up some bills.
That's rich friends, man. So shout out to LJ. But I'm excited for Zay. Yeah. He earned it. You talk about a guy that, and I've been defending him for the entire week by people who don't agree, but he's a guy that means so much to this offense, and he does a lot of things that you can't really measure. He's a guy that you have to account for. He's had multiple 1,000-yard seasons, and he is a linchpin when it comes to the standard of being a Raven, how he works, how he carries himself. You need guys like that on your team, so I love that Eric DeCosta made the move to make sure he's here long-term, and, he's a special player. The way he moves is unique, and you're able to use him in so many different ways, and he's earned everything, and I'm extremely excited for him.
He might be the most disrespected wide receiver one, I think, in the league. And it doesn't really matter if you think he's a wide receiver one because Steve Vashati thinks that he's a wide receiver one. But, when you look at Zay being a homegrown guy as well, this is traditionally a position that the Ravens have missed on, right? They've been trying to get and hit on that first-round receiver for ever and have not been able to do it. They finally do with Zay and reward their guy. What does that tell you about, the future of what that position means here in Baltimore?
I think it means that you have one, right? When you talk about Zay, and I hate when people use the term number one receiver, right? Because there are number two receivers in this league that go over 1,000 yards, right? It's about, does this guy help elevate my offense? And is he a guy that's worth keeping around? And the answer to that is yes, right? Zay Flowers is that guy. Zay is a guy that you can build around, right? Everyone likes to think that their top receiver has to look a certain way. It absolutely doesn't, right? I think everyone likes to look for the sexy pick, the guy that's 6'1", running fast, jumping all over everyone. And Zay can do all of the same things. And you measure up numbers, Zay Flowers' numbers are comparable to everyone. And by the way, Zay Flowers probably gets the ball 70 times less than the other guys that are at the top of the bracket when you start naming guys that are
at no fault of his own, because that's just how this offense works.
Right? It's the offense. And I think people forget that Baltimore, no matter what, even as great as Lamar Jackson has been, is still very much run first. Right, you want to establish the run. It's AFC North. That's just how it's going to be. It's not like how Pittsburgh was with Antonio Brown, and Ben was like, hey, AB somewhere, I'm just going to throw the ball. This offense isn't built that way. However, Zay Flowers, and people will see this year when he's all over the place, I think he's set for a big year, and I think they did a great job signing him now because if they continue to wait, he's only going to be more expensive. And you see that time and time again, which is why, as great as the Ravens are at signing a lot of their guys, they lose out on guys when you wait and allow them to hit the market. So I love that they locked them up.
Absolutely. And when you talk about what this offense is going to be, I think even though there's a lot of excitement around Declan Doyle's offense and explosive has been a word that we've heard a lot, they're still going to want to run the football. When you look at what the Bears did last year and how they had so much success and what set up Caleb Williams for success, it kind of started with the run game and establishing the run there. So, and even in New Orleans, they were able to run the ball as well when he was spending time there. And obviously Sean Payton in Denver, what they do with Sean Payton, just with the smaller quarterbacks, and able to have success. Yeah. The play action, the run game, that's got to be established. So I agree. And also, if you listen to what Jesse Minter's saying before this signing, they want to put the ball in Zay's hands as much as possible. And, we have this chart where you can see now Zay, one of the highest paid receivers in the league. And you look at these guys that are on this list with Zay making $35 million a year now on average. Jackson Smith and Jacobe obviously just reset the market, but Jamar Chase, Drake London, Justin Jefferson, those are all big-time wide receiver ones. And Jesse this week was talking about what that means to him. And it's not about the big outside guy like it was in years past. It's just finding ways to use motion and get that guy the ball as much as possible. And it sounds like that's what their plan is for Zay.
Yeah, Zay's going to touch the ball a lot this year. And I also think as you check out that chart, there's a major difference in the top two and everyone else. Zay Flowers is still $5 million below the top two guys. And by the way, in a year, there'll be about 3 or 4 more guys in front of Zay. Like, that's just the nature of the business. At some point, fans have to get over the value of these contracts, right? This is the guy that's been in the Pro Bowl back-to-back years. You think he's gonna take a low ball deal? No. He's gonna be up there near the top. He's gonna take in this case, as you see, a top 5 deal, right? And it's an extension. It rewards the team as well. Everyone likes to talk about what it means for the team. Zay didn't wait to get to $40 million because that's what it's gonna jump to in another year. He took the security now. The team's gonna be able to spread this salary cap hit out. And by the way, the league is the most professional sports league in this country.
Cap's only going up. Right.
The cap's only going up. It's an amazing deal for both sides, and it's one that was earned.
Absolutely. And Zay now the highest paid receiver in franchise history. And now as you kind of turn the page from that deal, you know the deal everyone wants to talk about now, and everyone's hoping it gets done, is Lamar Jackson. And Zay also is hoping that Lamar will sign an extension here. Everyone is kind of just sitting back waiting what's number 8 going to do. Here's Zay talking about his quarterback.
I'd love for him to be my quarterback till I'm done playing. No matter whether 12 years, 13, no matter how long, I want him to be my quarterback because to me, he's the best in the world.
All right, now 12 years, 12 years is a long time.
Hey, man,
that's a long time for a receiver. That's a long time for a receiver.
It's happening. Guys are out there, and when you work like Zay, you know what I mean? You protect yourself a little bit. He can do it.
He could do it, but he obviously wants Lamar to be there. We've heard from Eric DeCosta, we've heard from the Ravens brass that they want Lamar to be here as well. We've even heard Steve Bisciotti say Lamar's his quarterback. What's it going to take to get a deal done, do you think? Do you think a deal happens before the season?
It's Lamar Jackson. At this point, I think I've stopped trying to guess what he's going to do because Lamar's not fazed by anything. If he gets an extension, cool. If he doesn't, cool. He's proven time and time again that he operates at his own pace. And unless you're going to give him what he's earned and what he feels like he's earned, he's not going to rush to do anything. And I think when you're making as much money as he's making on the field and off the field, you have the luxury of doing that. I don't think it's a situation where he's like, hey, he doesn't want to be a Raven. But at the end of the day, like, Lamar Jackson is unique. I don't think there's ever been a quarterback in the history of the game that operates the way he does contractually because he's comfortable. He's like, hey, I'm going to get what I want. Right? And he doesn't have to rush to do it because he is the best player in the league.
Well, it doesn't hurt when you sign one of his best friends. That doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt, right? I mean, if he knows that he has some security at that position for the next, couple of years.
Yeah, I don't think Lamar ever really had to doubt whether the organization is committed to him, right? I think you see that in what they've been able to bring around him. Then you see that in obviously signing Zay, bringing in Derrick Henry, right? You've invested in guys there. And they've been trying to people, just because it hasn't necessarily worked out in the way that people think it should work out, it's not like they haven't been trying to draft guys either, right? Like, they're called prospects for a reason. It's what you think they're going to be. You don't hit on everyone. So they've definitely tried to play their part to make sure that Lamar has weapons around him.
All right, well, we're going to go from one receiver to the next. We're going to take a quick break there. When we come back, we are going to talk about a rookie making waves in the early days of training camp, Jacobe Lane. The hype train to pick up steam. More Purple Playbook after the break.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. The winning prognosis, brought to you by LifeBridge Health. Care bravely.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook. We're going to keep the receiver talk going and talk about one of your guys, Jacobe Lane, who's having an incredible start to camp.
I love it. Jacobe's a guy that we've raved about from the beginning about his potential and all of the strengths of his game. You're starting to see play out in camp, and people are starting to become aware of his catch radius, right? His size and his confidence. That's something that everyone recognizes from the beginning. So to see him go out, make these plays against the best corners on the team, that's huge because he's not – we've talked about this time and time again. They're not asking Jacobe Lane to go out there and be a hero and do every single thing at the receiver position for this group. They're simply asking him to go out and win your one-on-ones. And at this point, he's proven that he can go out and compete with the best of the best, and his strengths are shining. There's sometimes young players have an adjustment when they go from college to the pros, and I think primarily it's really confidence. Like, they're not able to really show their strengths all the way, but he knows the playbook.
Doesn't lack
He knows
confidence.
his role, and he's making plays. He's probably the most confident person you'll ever see, and I love it. My kids love him, right? My youngest son, Cam, he's like, oh, yeah, man, Jacobe Lane's my friend. You know, he's a guy, Jacobe, I've known him since he's been in high school, so it's really cool to see how it's building, and I think he's going to have a big role in this offense this year.
You know, I am always I'm very measured with my takes. I'm trying to slow down with this one. I'm trying to
Where are
slow
you
down.
going?
I feel like right now, through 2 weeks of camp, he is establishing himself as that wide receiver 3, potentially creeping into wide receiver 2 territory. I don't know, but it's been that impressive, and it's been cool to see that relationship grow with him and Lamar Jackson. And we heard we heard Declan Doyle compare him to Michael Thomas, which is high praise. But we also had Derrick Henry comparing him to a future gold jacket on the Up and Adams show this week.
I like his mentality. He ain't scared. Wherever the ball, he can catch it. Anywhere. Wherever.
What trait that he has jumps off the page most for you?
I think he gives me like a young Hop. I feel like when D-Hop was in his prime, wasn't no ball he couldn't catch. And that's what he kind of starting to give me that. But I'm not saying he's there right now, but he's giving me that, he on wherever the ball is his.
I mean, let's slow down, but D-Hop, that's what I will say, though. What stands out to me about Jacobe, and obviously you know this from being around him, his hand size. And that's the one thing, if you've been around DeAndre Hopkins too, his hands are massive. I mean, it's like a vice grip around the ball. And then, we're looking at this play right now. This is the play at training camp. Jesse Minter said this was a top 3 catch that he has ever seen. So this was I don't know if I'm in this picture or not. I'm standing right back behind there somewhere. But it was one of those where you're watching, and then your jaw just kind of drops like, what? How does he contort his body, to make that catch? Nate's sticky in coverage. But then also, it's just the one hand going back there and just snagging it like it's nothing.
And it's casual to him.
Very casual. Because then he found the camera and did
That's the norm, right? It's amazing watching his natural skills. He knows how to use his size. He knows how to use his frame. And by the way, Lamar Jackson threw that ball where it was his ball.
For sure.
Or no one else's ball, right? That type of confidence that you're able to build with your quarterback, hey, he's open regardless, that does remind you of DeAndre Hopkins, a guy that, hey, I know if I give him a chance, it's going to be our ball or no one else's ball. And he's starting to deliver on that. That's going to be huge for Lamar. That's something we've been yelling about for years. Man, give Lamar a guy that can win one-on-one, that he's open no matter what. That bails you out of so many situations because offense, no matter how good of a coordinator you are, it becomes a time where the defense is playing well and you just need that one big play to break it open, and Jacobe is working like he's primed to be the guy in that position. He will start this season as wide receiver number 3. I think it's clear. You're going to give him the opportunity to grow, earn his stripes, but he's ready for the moment. Again, his confidence, I don't care if he gets 0 targets or 10. He's going to go out and he's going to give you everything that he has.
You've been in training camp. I want to know from a receiver standpoint right now, as Jacobe's working with his quarterback, when we're out there watching, there's sometimes where it seems like Lamar is putting it maybe a little higher than maybe you think Jacobe can get. Maybe they miss, but he's maybe just testing some things out to see what that catch radius is, where he maxes out. Is that kind of what's going on in camp right now? It's not all about just making completions. It's about testing things and trying things out.
Yeah, he's going to find out, right? Lamar, no quarterback is perfect, right? And I think we have a guy like that that's like Inspector Gadget arms, go Gadget arms. It seems like it's out of reach until it's not. And I think that's what Lamar is definitely exploring out. He's learning his players, how far can he go? There's sometimes where the window is tight, and it's man, how far can I really push this? Can he go and get it? And he's proven time and time again right now that he's not afraid to go get it. But if you go back and you watch his highlights in college, he did that. His first touchdown, I believe, was at Maryland, and he did it in the right corner of the end zone. Still disgusted by that. And then
that was nasty.
And I watched him in high school doing the exact same stuff. So it's amazing to watch his growth. And again, he's going to play a major role in this offense.
Yeah, well, the hype train's not just building here locally, nationally. We got it brewing as well. You got Des Bryant, who has been on Jacobe Lane and been trying to tell people about him ever since he was drafted. And then Chad Ochocinco also chiming in. Chad, he stays tapped in with the receivers. He stays tapped in. Always. So you're getting some high praise from some big time guys.
That's not normal, right? The catch he made is not normal, but it's normal to him. And that's the God-given talent that you see in someone where you're like, man, what is he going to be able to do and how is it going to translate? His superpower is showing, and all that's going to do is help build him up. And as he continues to work in games to get more comfortable with his assignments, and you don't have to worry about him being nervous. That's just not a thing. It's not to him. He's so confident, and I think people while we're pumping him up and showing that, man, he's doing a great job with his strengths, you have to give him grace to be able to work his way going forward. He's young. He's going to make some mistakes, but he is going to be a guy that by the time they get to the middle of the season, and not even the middle of the season, he's going to be ready early. He's going to be a guy that this team can count on in clutch moments.
All right, well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to play Something or Nothing and continue the Ravens talk. That center competition is brewing. Maybe somebody's getting a little bit of a head start there, maybe making some headway. We're going to talk about it when Purple Playbook continues.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. The Bottom Line, brought to you by M&T Bank.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook. It's time for Something or Nothing. I'm going to throw out a topic, Torrey, and you tell me if it's something or nothing. We know there's a center competition going on right now in camp. They're in the thick of it with Tyler Linderbaum signing with the Raiders in free agency. Danny Pinter is a guy that's standing out to me. He's taken the most, if not all, of the first-team reps with Lamar Jackson. We know Lamar is moving under center for a lot of what they're trying to do with this new offense. He seems to be settling in. But you know they went out and they got Ethan Posick a couple weeks ago. He's a veteran, 10-year veteran, I believe. I think even though Jesse Minter's saying there's no deadline, it feels like Danny Pinter, I feel like that's kind of the direction that's going. You think that's something or nothing?
I think there's a lot of something to what you're saying, right? When it comes to camp, we have to be honest here. The guys that are getting the most reps, they have the best shot at it, and unless they're stinking it up, it's going to remain that way, right? When you have someone that's working their way back from injuries, but also that's a player that's proven that he can play at a high level, you don't have to really rush that as much. You know that, hey, if anything else happens, give him a month in camp, he's going to be fine. But you're getting this young guy, a younger player, the opportunity to go out and play and establish himself. If he's doing fine, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Lamar has had protection in camp, right? You have a guy that's had an entire offseason to work and understand this offense. If he's going to go out and have the opportunity to just be okay, he doesn't have to be a superstar, to be able to provide at that position, there's no need to kick him out just for a name. If he's performing well, he'll keep the job.
Yeah, it could be interesting to see how that revamped offensive line works, especially when you consider, I mean, we're not going to see Lamar Jackson in preseason, spoiler alert there. You're going to see a lot in those joint practices what that looks like, because I think that in years past, they're going to treat that maybe like the preseason when they go to those 11-on-11 team periods. Let's go back to receivers. There's been a lot of receiver talk today because one of your guys, Stefon Diggs, signed with the Commanders this week. So Jaden Daniels has a weapon. It's a one-year deal worth up to $12 million. Is that something or nothing for the Commanders fans out there?
A whole lot of something. It's something that I also thought was going to be done a few weeks ago. I think there was a young receiver out here who's been losing his mind on social media that may have helped speed that up a little bit. But I'm excited for Diggs. Diggs is over there working out at Domain Fit with Myron Flowers. He's been there this entire offseason, and he's in excellent shape. And so I'm excited for him to go out and show what he's capable of doing. You got to think, Diggs just had 1,000 yards last year and barely touched the ball. Right? He's still playing at a very high level, and I'm willing to say that he's actually in the best shape of his life because of how this offseason has been. So he's going to play with the chip on his shoulder, and even bigger than obviously him playing, I'm excited for him to be back home, to have the opportunity to play in Maryland. That's the top turf right there, right? Like to go be from this state, to play in this area. I said Maryland, but we get what we're saying. They're not really Maryland's team anymore. They're going to D.C. But still, I'm excited for him to have the opportunity to be local. He means a lot to the kids in his community, and to have the opportunity to be there and potentially finish up his career in this area, that's something that's bigger than football to me.
Absolutely, and we got to wrap this up, of course, with what I think is probably the biggest news. It feels like they're creating a Monstars team out there in L.A. because Aaron Donald's out there working out. I mean, if you wanted to call it trying out, I guess. Sean McVay said it was the best tryout ever. Aaron Donald out there working out with the Rams. Is that something or nothing? He hasn't played football in 3 years, but, I mean, it looks incredible.
He didn't stop working out the same way. I think they're going to give him a chance to kind of skip camp. I think he's coming back. I really do. At first, I was like, there's no way. I've seen him, but there's no way. He's interested. He's living life, traveling, being a dad, doing community stuff, got businesses going on. I'm like, there's no way. But this is a rare situation where he can come back and not have to be a hero. right? He already has Myles Garrett there, and there's an
There
argument.
should be like some rules against this. Like you shouldn't be able to do this.
Why not?
Like Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald shouldn't be allowed to be on.
How are
the
they
same.
going to figure that out? Because he retired and he had a contract that still technically. There's going to have to be some salary cap stuff.
Somebody's
going on
getting
here.
A big, direct deposit. That's
Right.
What's
So like, yeah.
Someone's going to get a
They're
big
definitely gonna have
direct
to give.
deposit.
It's not going to be cheap if he comes back. However, if he does come back, I think it's hard to argue that there's ever been two better players on one single defensive line in the history of the game.
Gosh, that's 2 gold jackets right there.
Two.
That's tough. And they're already Super Bowl favorites. It's going to be tough. All right, we're going to take a break and wrap up the show. When we come back, you're watching Purple Playbook.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. Now, WJC's Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook. As we wrap up the show, we got to talk about what's going to go into this week now as the Ravens transition from the install portion of training camp to now getting ready for a game. We got our first preseason game coming up on Saturday. Mm-hmm. What is this week going to be like for players, the younger players? We know most of the vets.
The older guys, business as usual, but for the younger players, it's going to be their first opportunity to see what it's like in live action, have the opportunity to go out and prove they're confident in their assignments and go out there and play. You know, a lot of guys' dreams are going to come true for the first time to step on that field. And you're going to see some hungry guys who are fighting for those roster spots at the end. And, it's going to be super competitive for them, and I'm excited for their opportunity.
Really quick, we got about 20 seconds to go. Give me one name, guy you're looking forward to watching on Saturday.
Jacobe Lane's going to be on the field. So I think it's about going out. You're playing against more of your peers, a lot of younger players, and maybe some vets that are fighting for it. So I'd love for him to get a few targets and just see what it's like to play at this level.
I like Jacobe Lane. Also, Adam Randall. That's another guy I'm watching.
Oh, yeah.
That's it for this week's Purple Playbook. We're back next week.